today we are going to talk about everything third trimester related. It's my third trimester update video. So I'm gonna chat with you guys about how that went and kind of the things that I've experienced during the third trimester. I will be 40 weeks tomorrow. Tomorrow is my due date, September 20th, and obviously she's still not here and doesn't really have any signs of making an entrance. You never know, but as of right now she's kind of holding strong and not really wanting to make an arrival. So we're going to talk all about the third trimester and kind of what to expect during that time, or at least what happened during my time. So let's go ahead and we'll just jump right into it. I do have some notes on my phone, so I'm going to be referencing my phone just so I don't forget anything. But let's go ahead and just chat all about the third trimester. Okay, so starting out, the third trimester, I would say, was probably, in the beginning of it, one of the easier trimesters. The first trimester was definitely my worst one. You can go back and watch that video. I was just really nauseous and sick during that time, which is pretty common. But that was probably the worst trimester that I've had. The second trimester was the best. You have so much energy and you're just like in that nesting mode, and it was just probably the best time, even though that's when the gallbladder issues that I have started. Energy-wise, it was the best time. So the third trimester, starting out, I still had a lot of energy coming from the second trimester into the third, and everything was pretty much, fine. I was still following all of the restrictions that I had to for the gallbladder pancreatitis that I have. So still not eating a high-fat diet. Everything is low fat or no fat. So keeping that under check has really helped a lot. But I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in any of my videos with my trimester updates, but during this whole pregnancy, I have not gained any weight. I've actually lost weight during the pregnancy. So because I think a combination of me being really sick in the first trimester and then all of the issues that I've had with my gallbladder, pancreatitis, I've actually lost around 35 pounds during this pregnancy, which is crazy because I have a big belly and everything like that, but everything else has gotten smaller, except for my belly and obviously my chest. But yeah, everything else has gotten really smaller. She's growing, she's gaining weight, which is the most important thing. So that was my biggest concern, but I haven't gained any weight during this pregnancy. So because of the two things, mainly I think it's because of the low fat, non-fat diet, but again, as long as she's gaining weight, that's fine. So that kind of continued in the third trimester. Even though one thing I will mention about the third trimester, especially at this stage, I would say 36 weeks to now, I'm so hungry. I feel like you cannot eat enough. I'm just hungry all the time, and my cravings are really, really bad. I want all the sweet things and carbs. I'll just eat bread to eat bread. I just can't stop eating. And I know this is kind of the time where they gain a lot of their weight. I think the second and third trimester is when they put on the most weight. And maybe that's why you feel so hungry, but I just feel hungry all the time, and I eat and then I could eat again. And so we're kind of in that cycle right now where nothing is satisfying and you just want to keep eating. So that's definitely something that I've experienced during this third trimester. Some other things, obviously the need to use the restroom. Sorry if you can hear Rosie, she's outside barking. But just peeing constantly, you're drinking a lot, the thirst is still there, drinking a ton of water. But yeah, because of that, obviously you're going to the bathroom more frequently, which is annoying, and the combination of your baby sitting on your bladder. She's just dropped definitely within the last, I'd say 3 weeks, she dropped. And so the pressure on your bladder is just crazy. So between the two of drinking so much and all that pressure, I feel like I'm going to the bathroom every like 10-15 minutes. I have to pee. So that's fun. And pressure I put on here because, again, when the baby does drop, you have a ton of pressure in your pelvis. The other thing that comes with that, which is on my list, is something that is called lightning crotch, which is, I don't think that's like the medical term for it, but that's obviously what, they call it, and it is completely accurate. And I know a lot of pregnant women experience it, but then there are some who do not. So hopefully, you're someone who doesn't or hasn't experienced it, because it's painful. Like, it's the worst part of pregnancy so far. For me, because I get it constantly. If I change positions or if I get up too fast or anything can make it happen. And it essentially is exactly what it sounds. It's just like this shooting pain that happens out of nowhere and it takes your breath away. Like, it makes me like drop and like buckle my knees because it's so painful. And it's definitely worse now that she's dropped and gotten kind of lower in that position that she needs to be in. It happens just all day, every day, and it's so, so painful. So that's something that's been a lot of fun. I do have Braxton Hicks contractions still. I feel like they started for me in the 3rd trimester. I didn't really have them in the 2nd. I know that you can, but for me, I didn't really have any until this 3rd trimester. So they are like mild menstrual cramps is how I would describe them. But I'm someone who normally gets really bad cramps during that time of the month. So I'm kind of used to the pain that comes with that. So to me, they're not like unbearable by any means. And they really just kind of happen in the front of your abdomen, or at least for me. It's not going around to the back as much. The back contractions, I just started to have them like a week ago, which is kind of made me think that maybe like labor was happening, because they say that it wraps around and that's how you know, but they're irregular, they're not consistent, so it's not labor contractions. But the Braxton Hicks are just irregular, they come and go, but they're not super painful. You can definitely talk through them. At least, again, for me, everybody's pain tolerance is different, so keep that in mind. But yeah, they're definitely things that occur, and I guess it's just in preparation, get your body ready for the actual labor contractions and to have the baby. So they definitely happen. Heartburn, I do take a stomach pill every day. I have for years. I've always had stomach issues since my early 20s, so that's just something that I take. But that seems to be kind of not as impactful at this point in pregnancy, because I do feel some heartburn that I normally wouldn't feel, because of the fact that I take that stomach pill. So the heartburn is increasing. She does have hair. We did do the 40 ultrasound, and so they did say that she's got a good amount of hair, and that is a wives' tale that you experience heartburn if they have hair. Don't know if that's true or not, but I do have the heartburn happening. I also have been eating spicy foods because that is something they say like can bring on labor. So like the past like week and a half, I've been eating more spicy foods, which is obviously causing more heartburn. So they go hand in hand. Another thing is hip pain. I've had a lot of hip pain on both sides of my hip for, I would say, the past 4 weeks or so, the past month, especially at night, because I am a side sleeper. So I kind of rotate sides every like 30 or 40 minutes because I can't get comfortable anymore. I sleep with a pillow in between my legs. I tried everything, but obviously your body is just getting prepared to birth a child. So your hips do shift and your pelvis moves and all of that to get in preparation for that to happen. So there is definitely a lot of pressure on your hips, and like at this point I'm definitely waddling because of the baby's position and the pressure, and just things are just uncomfortable. There's no doubt the 3rd trimester is a very uncomfortable trimester. but the hip pain is pretty bad, and something that I'm really looking forward to getting rid of once she's here. Speaking of that, the lack of sleep, you pretty much don't sleep in the third trimester. I hear so many people say to me, like, sleep now, like, now's the time for you to get your sleep, nap and sleep. And I don't know how you do that in the third trimester because you're so uncomfortable and you have just like insomnia. Like, pregnancy insomnia is so real. You can't sleep. I'm up like every 30, 40 minutes, tossing and turning. My body is like on clockwork with the same times at night that I have to use the bathroom. So it's just, it is what it is. Just be prepared for that you're not gonna sleep. If you're someone who can nap during the day, maybe that would be a great way for you to get some sleep. I'm just not that person. I can't sleep during the day. I do like lay on the couch and try to rest here and there, but I'm not sleeping. It's just never been my thing to take naps. I think during pregnancy, I might have taken like 4 naps during the whole time, because I'm just not that person. But if you can, definitely do that, because your body does need sleep, but it's not realistic. And everybody who tells you to sleep now while you can, because you're never gonna sleep again because the baby's coming, it's like, okay, well, it's not happening. So your body's just preparing you to not sleep when the baby gets here. That's how I look at it. I always was somebody who needed like 8 to 12 hours of sleep. I love to sleep in. But now I'm realized like, okay, like I can be functional on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Not pleasant, and I don't love it, but I can function. So, you know, at least there's that. It's preparing you for it. Sorry about that. So I don't know where I left off. I think we were talking about exhaustion. So it's definitely something that you experience in the third trimester, is being super tired. Kind of like the first trimester, but it's a little different, at least for me. Because in the third trimester, like, I still mentally want to do things. I want to get up. I want to like nest some more and get some things accomplished, but your body just has other plans, and you physically can't do a lot of things now because you have this big belly, and you know, it's just hard to like lift things or pick things up. I joke with my husband all the time, like, he's gonna come home and there's just like stuff on the floor because I'm not picking things up if they fall. It's just like, it's a lot. It's like the littlest things are so much effort anymore. So yeah, it's just like a different type of exhaustion, I think, that you kind of experience in the third trimester than in the first trimester. The other thing is her movements. I call them slasher movements because it's like she's slashing around in there. In the beginning, when you first start to feel the flutters and the kicks, it's like sweet and exciting, and it's like a little kick here, a little kick there. But now, because she's like bigger, she is just like sloshing around in there, it feels like, and she goes like from side to side, and like my whole stomach will like move from one side to another, and it can be really painful. I definitely think that if it's possible to have like internal bruising, that's what's happening, because she likes to kick in the same spots, it seems, over and over. Definitely likes the right side of my body. That's like her preference, but it's just a little bit more violent of movements at this point. So just be prepared for that the nice soft kicks turn into like kind of hard, violent motions. And that's pretty much it that I have on, you know, the top of my list. I will say, obviously everybody's different and what you experience is completely different. I've been really lucky during this pregnancy. I haven't had any bleeding or spotting or anything like that. But I know that does happen. I just think that there's a lot of things that one person can experience and the other person might not. Even pregnancy to pregnancy, I know, is very different. So just keep that in mind, that if you're experiencing something that I didn't mention, that doesn't mean that you know, it's not normal. Obviously, always talk to your doctor about things that you're experiencing. I do when I go to the doctors. I always tell them, you know, if I'm having contractions or pain or discomfort. So I definitely suggest doing that. They do obviously want you to track movements. I think that starts in the second trimester, where you're supposed to be counting how much they move within an hour. And it's like 10 movements in an hour, the same time of the day. So that was something that I was doing, and she moves all the time. She's very active. But we recently had a little bit of a scare the other night. I just felt like she wasn't moving a lot during the day. And then we got into bed, and that's normally the time that she moves the most, is like when I'm ready to go to sleep. And I hadn't like felt her move in a couple hours, and we just got concerned. So we did go and call our doctor. They told us to go to the hospital, and then hooked her up to like a monitor. She was perfectly fine. Everything was fine. And of course, as soon as we got there, she decided she was going to have a dance party, and she was moving like crazy. And I felt silly at the time that like, oh gosh, like they probably think I'm crazy, that, you know, we're here because I didn't feel her move. But just trust your gut and know that, you know, you're the only one that can advocate for you and your baby. It's scary being this far into pregnancy and having something like that happen. We were just scared, and we're first-time parents, and this is my first pregnancy, and you know, you just never know. So that's just something that we experienced this week that was definitely scary, and I'm so thankful and grateful that it all turned out to be fine and that she's fine. But just kind of a little bit of advice is to always follow your gut, always follow your instincts, and, you know, trust how you feel, because you're the one that's carrying the baby. So I wanted to just throw a clip in here and show you guys my bump. So I wanted to just give you an update on what that looks like and kind of show you what we're working with, tomorrow being 40 weeks. So I will insert a clip here of the belly, and hopefully my last bump in the video until we go into labor. So show you guys what that looks like and what we're working with at 40 weeks pregnant. So this is 40 weeks tomorrow in here, all rounded and snuggled up, making no real effort to come into the world. She is comfortable and cozy in here, but this is what we're looking like at 40 weeks tomorrow. So yeah. With that being said, that is everything for the third trimester. Hopefully the next time you guys see us, we will be in our labor and delivery video. I don't know how much we're gonna film. I don't know how much the hospital lets us film, but I do want to capture some moments, and, you know, just for our memories, especially of her coming into the world. And I don't know when that's going to be. I'm hoping that she's going to come prior to Tuesday. Tuesday is my doctor's appointment, and that's when we're going to be talking about having an induction scheduled. And I really, really don't want to be induced. I would love for her to just come on her own, but, you know, it's something that you can't control, obviously, which is hard for me. I like to control things and plan, and this is just something that obviously you have no control over, but I would love for her to come naturally and not to have to get induced. So fingers crossed that that's what happens and that she comes on her own. But if not, Tuesday is the day to go to the doctor to talk about scheduling an induction. I'm assuming it would be for the following week, so 41 weeks, but we'll see. We'll keep you guys informed. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.